welcome back to Talk the Ting with Kim inside Fantastic Friday here on News Talk 93 FM. So we continue our discussion as we talk about the pros and cons of office romance or office dating. All right, so we have an exciting segment going on right now. We have persons on the Instagram live commenting. We have lots of interaction happening. You can join us on Funtastic 93 FM on Instagram. You can join us via WhatsApp at 876-792-3530. So before we jump into the second half of our discussion, let's look at some of the comments we have here. All right. So Peppermint says, if you find that your partner has good self-control, he may not be a Jamaican. Peppermint, no, you can't make me look so bad. No, there are good guys out there. I am one of them. I represent it. I'm a good guy. I have control of myself. All right. So yeah. Unbeatable says, I wouldn't want to work where my partner works. Why is that unbeatable? You have to give me a reason. Give me at least one reason why you wouldn't want to work where your partner works. Kellyanne says, unbeatable. I told you he's going to college. Okay. Oh, your partner gone to college, Kelly. Okay, I understand. Well, when I talk about a partner, unbeatable. All right, just kidding. I see. All right, so let's jump into the second half of our discussion. So before the break, we had looked at 5 pros or advantages why it's going to be good to have a office romance, or benefits of having a office a couple, you being a part of a office dating. You have your couple, your partner is there at your office. Yeah, we looked at 5 pros of dating at the office, or office dating or office romance, and this time now we're going to take a look at 5 cons. Well, we actually looked at more than 5, but we're going to look at 5 cons for having an office romance or dating at the office. All right, I know the biggest thing that's gonna hit everybody right now when it comes to dating at the same office. The big number 1 con or disadvantage is gonna be workplace drama. This is the big thing that a lot of people are afraid of. All right, so if things go south, it could lead to awkwardness, gossip, or even affecting your team dynamics. And when we talk about workplace drama, anything that happens in a relationship has the potential of being a discussion topic at work. So for example, you used to come to work together in the same vehicle, all of a sudden the two of them start driving a separate vehicle. I walk around. Everything becomes a discussion at the office. Peppermint, I can see you right. Now we're talking. You see, I agree with the cons there. I see some comments coming in. People, I tell you, the biggest thing is going to be the workplace drama. A lot of persons are not up for that. And that is what really sets the whole issue apart when we're talking about dating in the office or having an office romance. All right. So, Fiona says conflict of interest in some cases if it's an office secret. Unbeatable says, I worked with my partner before and it was hell. Whenever someone called to me, he became upset. Oh, look at jealousy. What? All right, Peppermint, as I said, she said, no, we're talking. Fiona says distractions. Unbeatable says, yes, workplace drama. Fiona says power of imbalance. So there's an imbalance of power there. All right, people. So point number 1 on the disadvantage side, or a con of having office romance, is anything in a relationship can become a part of workplace drama. All right. So point number 2, professionalism gets blurry. Yes. Professionalism gets blurry. What are we talking about here? If you and your partner are at the same workplace, it can be hard to separate personal and professional boundaries. Now, this may also affect your decision making or your objectivity. So, Peppermint say you're hitting the points, man. But yes, definitely. Having your partner at your workplace, yeah, it's very sticky. Is this a professional thing? Is this a relationship thing? You might be at a meeting and then a little later in the night you cuddle up with your boo. All of a sudden, so we are going to send the meeting for. There's a blur between the line of what is professional and what is your relationship. And that can be a disadvantage. Yeah, that can be sticky. So if you're not able to balance that that line, yeah, you're gonna have some issues in the relationship. I tell you, Peppermint is loving this side of the discussion. I see some comments coming in from the others as well. All right, let's take a look at the messages here. All right. So we have from Fiona. Fiona says, yes, gossip. Kellyanne says, yes, yes, yes. She will not want that. She don't want any gossiping about her relationship. Peppermint says, I'm saying if you can avoid certain things, you do that from the onset. Fiona says, jealousy sets in. Home life spills over into the workplace. Kellyanne says, yes. Fiona says, performance is interrupted. Peppermint says, no self-control. Worse if you date a Jamaican man. Peppermint, what is this thing with the Jamaican men? What's so special about them? What I mean, Fiona says, breakdown in respect, especially if things go sour. Yeah, you can imagine you and your partner break up and then them see you back together 2 weeks later. It's another office discussion that, you know. So it is very, yeah, that point 1 and 2 workplace drama, yeah. Point 2, professionalism gets blurry. Point number 3, this is where it can affect you as, you know, they say losing your job. You may encounter HR issues. Yeah. Some companies have policies against dating co-workers, especially if there is a power imbalance. For example, dating your supervisor or your manager or your superior. There we go, people. I mentioned this earlier. So usually in these cases, yes, there's going to be times where it's going to be seen as a no-no, especially if you're new to the company. Yeah, and you just want to start the relationship. If you're already dating before you get to the relationship, you know, that before you get to the workplace, you know, it's less of a problem. But once you are there and you want to start your office romance with a supervisor or superior, there are implications. So you better consult with HR and make sure you're not breaking any rules at the office and might cost you your job. Yeah. So, HR issues, as Peppermint said earlier, if you can avoid them, avoid them. All right. So we look at point number 4. Fiona was highlighting to this one earlier, and we are finally there. Having your partner at your workplace may lead to distractions. So that's a disadvantage. Number 4, distractions. All right. So too much emotional involvement at work may reduce your focus and your productivity. Every minute you go and chat, sus, couple up, cuddle up. Half of the time when I work for the una talk lovey-dovey stuff. When we see you later, what we gonna do? All of that take up the people in work time. If you're having an argument, take up the people in work time. You can't focus. You don't want to send over the paper to the man office because you and him in a disagreement. From last night when him clip him toenail and never take up the toenails extra. Like, these things will boil over into the work experience. So people, if you're not strong at heart and don't have enough patience, dating at the office might not be for you. So in order to avoid distractions, yeah, you might want to rethink that relationship. All right. I don't know. The persons on the live are having a great time. Let's see what they're saying. All right. So far we looked at The cons, we looked at workplace drama, that's number 1. Professionalism gets blurry, that's point number 2 when we look at the disadvantages. Number 3, HR issues. And number 4, distraction risk. We're coming up to number 5 shortly. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the most recent comments. Alright, Peppermint says they don't have nothing about them. I guess she's talking about the Jamaican men. Kellyanne says, Peppermint, Jamaican one break your heart. I'm guessing. Peppermint says jail time. Yup, because if the Jamaican man lacks self-control and lose it in the workplace, oh Lord, Moti jail shan. Peppermint, I think you need like an anger management class, because you don't need to get to jail if your man is acting up or not, doesn't have self-control. Just leave him, you know? Yeah, break the relationship up. Let's not let it carry you to jail. Kellyanne says no baby girl. Peppermint says no baby girl in relation to if a Jamaican man broke her heart. Unbeatable says, okay, she's here wondering if that was the case. Peppermint says, I would have to have a heart for it to be broken. Wow, Peppermint, are you heartless? I doubt it. You have such a warm personality. You must have a big heart. Why ladies always go at them heartless when them know them have a big heart? I don't know. I guess they're trying to protect themselves from those so-called Jamaican man that Peppermint talking about. Fiona says there's a breakdown in the office morale. And that's definitely ties into what we're talking about as distraction. Yeah, I mean, imagine having a meeting and you hear say your husband at the door want to talk to you. Come on, man. Sir, wait till she get home. You know, ups in our business. So let's look at point number 5 when we talk about disadvantages, or when we talk about cons of office romance or office dating. The big one that we all fear or would like to avoid is breakup consequences. Yes. So imagine in a nice little 6 months, 1 year relationship, 8 months, you know. If you date for like more than 3 years and go break up, something really wrong otherwise, because that means there's something big fall apart, probably like a trust issue or some infidelity. But you know, when the relationship just starts, you know, you gone 6-8 months to a year and you break up, yeah, you still have to see each other. You still have to see each other post breakup, which can be emotionally draining and awkward, especially for those involved. Especially when you have to see each other or work together. Oh my gosh. And then your co-workers are already aware and they have the opportunity to make it even much harder on you too. Yeah. Because if it's a project you're like, can I work with anybody else? Because if you break up, you're not going to be the happiest of people. And depending on what caused the breakup, you might not want to be, you know, friendly with the partner anymore. So, having that person at your workplace will definitely lead to some rough breakup consequences to handle. And we're not just talking about breakup either. We're talking about even disputes. Imagine you have malice your partner and is your co-worker. Somebody say, get some files from the marketing department for me. You know, say you're a partner in a marketing. You don't want to go, yeah, try find somebody to send. Like, it can be, yeah, it can be stressful, or it can be a burden to have that type of experience. So those are our 5 cons. Workplace drama, professionalism gets blurry, HR issues, distraction, and breakup consequences. So what do you think? Which one sounds heavier? The cons sounds heavier, the pros seem to be leading. Let me know what you think. As we look at the pros and cons of office romance or office dating. People, I don't know. I know a couple of persons who are dating at their office like right now. I'm trying to figure out if they were dating before they started working at the same place. I'm just trying to remember. But it's very, you know, tricky. It's a very tricky situation to handle. And imagine, you know, your work making you lose your partner or your partner making you lose your work. Either of those is not really a good thing for you. All right. Let's see here. Fiona says, that's right. Breakup complications. Of course. Kellyanne says, ouch, ouch, ouch. Let's see. Peppermint says, imagine your breakup and you have a breakup with the work too. Oh my gosh. No, I mean, you don't have to break up with the work, but if it's something that's unbearable, yes, some people actually consider changing jobs, changing possibly even their careers because they were dating somebody at the office. Peppermint says, left the work. Fiona says, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Kelly says, still working. Sometimes they have a new girlfriend at the workplace. That is another thing too. And that's a part of it. Imagine you guys were dating and then 3 months later, all of a sudden you see him have a new girlfriend at the workplace. Oh gosh. That can be very stressing then. That can be very traumatic. Because one, jealousy, yes. Two, you're trying to figure out if this person was dating this person while you were together. You know? So many questions start to come from that. That's a very good point, Kellyanne. If you're still working and you see them with a new person after on a breakup. Wow. Fiona says, what if the job is your dream job? As I said, that's why it's a big risk. Dating somebody at your office, because if you're changing your job because of the relationship, that's rough. That's a rough decision there. Peppermint says, me telling you, say, Jamaican man lack boundaries because they don't know anything about cordial relationship. When you say Peppermint, everybody them a look? Is that what you're saying? Unbeatable says, the cons are heavier. Peppermint says, cons are leading by far. Wow. And yes, one of the cons of having a partner at your workplace is jealousy. I should have added that one. It's tied into one of the others, but jealousy is a big thing on its own. Because imagine your partner out there knowing that some other co-worker in your office for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Look a bit later in the day, so what them in your office for long for? When I do? You and this when you're close. 1,000 questions are coming out. And imagine for those people who have like a work bestie and do everything together. And some of these things you're comfortable with, but I'm sure you wouldn't be openly doing it because it might affect your partner if they're seeing you. So imagine if your partner is at your workplace and glimpse you and another so-called work bestie skipping off to lunch. Jealousy is a very big part of the cons. So I don't know. If you guys are decided an office romance is the thing for you, you better consider the pros and the cons of office romance. All right. Kellyanne says, me and another. No more somebody. Fiona says, you just have to come together to an agreement for one person to leave. As I said, that usually ends up being the case. One person decides to leave the workplace because it can be a tough situation. Either working together with your partner or having to work at the same place after your partner have broken up. Maybe the one earning the less money should agree to leave. But suppose them still get a promotion or probably them harder to get a job. Come on, it's very tricky. PB said them jealous. Fiona says you can think about getting another job somewhere else. Peppermint says, yup, jealousy leads to jail time. Boy, I'm not telling them. Girlfriend and I never are seen with each other. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine your partner see you with somebody else. I'll start throw hand over shoulder. You know, like, how come you never brush off him hand? Like, there's so many things that can stir up from these cons, these disadvantages. So as we consider people, the pros and cons of office romance or dating at the office, I'm going to just give you one final minute to give your conclusions and then I will give mine. All right? So we're talking about dating in the office or having an office romance, a relationship with your partner who so happens to be at the same workplace. Peppermint says, look here, might as well work at different jobs because the cons are too serious. People, listen to me. It is. I can't deny it. The pros, you have the shared environment, easy to spend time together, motivational boost, mutual understanding, and potential for genuine connection. All of these pros, you can find other ways to get it. You don't need to work at the same place to get it. You can work at different places and set time to get those 5 pros. But the cons are quite heavy. The cons are quite heavy. Workplace drama, professionalism gets blurry. There's too much lovey-doveyness going on at the workplace. Or you bring home the office drama at home. HR issues, you can lose a job or you can be doing something that's not approved of at your workplace. Number 4, there's a distraction risk of you know, not finishing up your work because every minute your boo come look for you. When you sit down and spend time together talking up a storm before you finish up your work. And I laugh and I talk about what going on last night and last week when you have the people in work to do. Alright? And point number 5, breakup consequences. That's one of the big disadvantages. How do I handle seeing this person after we've broken up? Working together, do I, am I able to talk to them? Am I comfortable working in the same environment afterward? It depends on how bad the breakup was actually. Definitely if it's a rough breakup, that's going to be a bigger experience to handle. And number 6, I added on the bonus of jealousy. Alright, so people, the cons are definitely in the lead on this one. I'm going to ask you to drop your views in the comments below when this video is posted. And let me know what is a pro for you for office romance or what is a con for you. Give a little short, idea of what's a pro, what's a con. And let me know which one you think wins. Yeah? As Peppermint says, yeah, the cons are in the lead. I see Fiona with her comment as well. Fiona says, let me just see here. Just gotta bring up the most recent comments. Alright, so Fiona says, stay away from office romance. Peppermint says, conclusion, don't do it. Reverse the Nike slogan. Not just do it, don't do it. Kelly says, yeah, slowly. Fiona says, you go work to get the milk, not to count the cow. That's how it go, and that's how it go. I don't know. I come here for drink milk, I don't come here for count cow. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I get it. Nice spin on that, Fiona. Unbeatable says, I agree with Peppermint. Defend your bag, people. All good things must come to an end, which includes this episode of Talk the Ting with Kim, as we look at the topic, the pros and cons of office romance. People, I'm going to drop two quick questions for our trivia segment as we close out today's show. Want to say a big up to all the guests that we had on our show today. All right. Let me give a quick shout out to our guests. Want to say big up to our artist J Rush. Large up yourself. He had his song Status Suit All Basic. He's doing his thing, dropping some new music. He has the music videos for you. Big up to Tough Like Iron. She came through, talk about her single Every Day, featuring Ras Ceylon. And trust me, nice positive vibe, Rasta vibration, that kind of energy. Want to say big up to our guests from Chancellor Hall. We had Marvin Stewart and Malik Dilworth. They battled against Esla Leo Riney Hall at Towers that featured Rajay and Sabrina. And Rajay and Sabrina were the winners in the end. So congrats to them. Want to say shout out to the team from Irving Hall who passed by to check our watch on the match, as their match will come up next week. People, big up to everybody. And here's your final trivia question for today. Alright, so I listed 5 pros and 6 cons. So tell me 1 pro and 1 con that I listed and you will get a credit prize. You have to be the first person to do so. Tell me what was 1 con and 1 pro that I listed for office romance. Alright? First person with the correct answer gets the credit prize. And I'll drop the second question same time. Which hall was the winner for our rivals battle today? Which hall was the winner for our rivals battle today? So we have 2 questions out there. First person with the correct answer gets a credit prize. As we wrap up today's show, guys, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Be safe out there. Have fun. I want to say a big up and happy birthday to Simone. Her birthday coming up on Monday. Big up to you. Happy birthday when it comes. Big up to everybody that's born in April. All who born in April, skip around. We got 1 minute to go. Let me check on the comments quick and fast. Let me see if we have a winner. People, Fantastic Friday is the place to be on a Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out the videos, comment, share the videos with a friend. Come on, man. And let's build this thing for 2025. All right. So, Peppermint says con, jealous. Fiona says destruction. Unbeatable says distraction, risk, shared environment. Fiona says job satisfaction. Peppermint says pro, working together, shared environment. Unbeatable, Yui Hall. All right, so far I'm seeing Unbeatable with a prize. And yeah. Peppermint, you only did put the con first, you put the pro later. So Unbeatable answer dropped right in between. So yeah, Unbeatable gets that one. People, have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. Big up to all the guests. Towers was the hall that won, people. Have a great weekend.